Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. There are lenses that are legendary, and the company are innovating a little bit. And I'm super happy that I'm seeing company innovating in the camera in the lens industry because I think for a long, long time it's only been about cameras, and we know with the craze of mirrorless cameras and all of those other things, it took some company a lot of time to focus after on lenses. It was mostly about camera first, which is understandable because yeah, they needed to sell units and then change mount and anything like that. So we've recently seen the newer Sony 52-150, which is an impressive lens, and the price is also just as impressive, you can say. But one lens I want to talk about is a lens that I think we are all very much too familiar with, because this lens has kind of become my go-to lens, and I never thought that I'll be using it so much. I have the one that I'm using, which is a standard focal length for all these lenses, and I think everybody does have one of these lenses in the arsenal, or most people do have those who shoot uh, zoom. I'm zoom lensing now instead of prime lensing, if I could say. And so this is the Sigma 24 to 70. Is the older version one. Is the DGHSM. It's pretty okay in terms of the lens. So today I'm going to do, should I say, a proper talk about this lens. It's not going to be a review because I'm not really one to do reviews, but I'm just going to give you guys my experience about using this lens and how it has treated me in general. I will start with the pros. There are quite a few, and there are cons as well. Mostly pertaining to the image quality as well as the ergonomic and a few other things. So because I've used this lens for quite some time now and I've put it through its pace, I've done events, I've done studio work and just general things here in the house, so forth and so on. I can really, really give you, I think, a honest view or an honest review about this lens that I'm holding over here. Let maybe start with the pros. First of all, it's very, very versatile. And in the right condition, this lens can be very sharp or acceptably sharp. It's an older technology, so it doesn't really render very well with some of the newer sensor. Um, but it does the job. I shoot it generally at f3.2, but if needs be at f2.8, it's still okay because it's a versatile wide to sort of telephoto. I tend to shoot it at 70 most of the time when I have the space. At 24, it happens sometimes that I shoot it there, but it's very, very few, in very few occasions that I do, because generally when I shoot studio, I tend to use my 70 to 200 because it's just that sharper. And you know, the red ring on any Canon is just something that sells to clients. The image quality is good. I love the fact that it is a Sigma, and Sigma are very, very reputable in terms of their lenses, and they also have probably some of the best sharpness in terms of camera. It doesn't feel overly too sharp. It doesn't feel overly too sharpened. It just feels okay. And especially because I have an older version here, it has that nice character in it, so it's not very clinical, which is I appreciate a lot. It doesn't have a lot of button per se like newer Sigma that you see that has a few buttons on the side for your customization as well as shortcuts. This one is a little bit more of a mute lens, if you could say it like that. So what don't I like about the lens? First of all, it flares as crazy. If it had to be in a mental or hospital as a lens, it's probably going to be in its own yard. The flaring is definitely not one that is very artistic. It's just one that is very distracting. It leaves nothing to be seen on the photo, as you can see in one of the photo that I'm putting here. But it's manageable. I have a lens hood, and I think there is a reason why this lens has been sold with a lens hood, because without one, you would literally only have a blur. Another thing that I also have to point out about the lens is that I don't like the placement of this on and off focus to manual autofocus switch. It literally bumps against you when you are holding the lens with the lens strap, because I'm using an harness system. So when every time I'm about to take a shot, I have to make sure that I'm putting it on autofocus so not to miss the shot. That is something that definitely, yeah, it's a bit annoying, but I am getting used to. It's just, I think the placement and the fact that this thing does protrude a lot, and I think it was Sigma design for some times, because I can see it's the same thing on the macro lens that I have as well. Yeah, it has, I'm sure, change on the newer lens that they have, but it's a bit annoying because, yeah, every time this hits you, it will just go into like manual focus on its own, and that's just very annoying. The millimeter thread size is pretty common. I think it's what, 82. So I have ND filter for this, so it's pretty acceptable. But overall, the versatility of this lens does trump all the cons that it comes with, and that is something that you can't really trade off. And that is something that I am discovering as well. And maybe another one of just a pinch of pros for this lens is the size. As you can see, it packs into like a pretty small feature, which allows it to really be very good when you are traveling. So this is pretty much a lens to rule everything in terms of focal length, and we all know that this is for those who do photography. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.